Greetings and salutations. I trust I find you all well. Some of you may or may not know that the Kingdom of Pineal has been headline news here in Portugal. The mainstream media has portrayed us as a sect or a cult that is trying to declare independence and divide Portugal. This is the general narrative that is being put out there by the mainstream media. Those of you who've been following us will know that this is far from the truth. If you've done enough of your research and you know what we're about, you will know that we are not a political party. We have no intentions of taking over any government or being a government or taking over any countries. That is not our intention at all. We're barefoot people growing food with minimal resources on a 5-hectare piece of land in the middle of nowhere, right? We do not have the resources, we do not have the capabilities or the knowledge to even begin to take over a country or even think about taking over a country. We've made it very clear that no one should own anything. All beings are free to live freely on this earth. This earth belongs to nobody, right? This earth was carved and sold to corporations. Countries don't actually exist. Most people don't know this. Countries are companies or corporations registered under some umbrella company somewhere. These are facts. This is not a conspiracy theory. These are facts you can look up yourself. This is not a secret. So that's the first part. The second part is this. I am not a king or guru of anybody. I never ever claimed to be anybody's leader or anybody's king. See, this story is trying to portray me as someone who's trying to be the king of the world or the king of Portugal or the king of other people. I'm the king of myself. I'm the king of my own state. I'm the king of my own sovereignty. I'm sovereign within myself. The Kingdom of Pineal is a sovereign state in the sense that we are declaring ourselves as living men and women. We are declaring independence from the birth certificate slavery contracts. Many of you will not know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. You will one day. But we are here to lift the lid and let everybody know that if you want to and you choose to, not everyone has to do this, you can declare yourself alive and free yourself from the debt system, from the birth certificate slavery that we were all put into bondage at birth. This is what we're doing. We're declaring our sovereignty. We have realized we were sold into slavery. I am no longer a slave and never will be a slave again. I am free. I am self-determined. I am a free entity of this earth. We're not anarchists. We're not a political party. We're not interested in any of that. We're interested in building our own paradigm. We're not here to fight anybody. We're not a resistance. We're not protesting. We're not asking anyone for anything. We simply are evoking our constitutional right, our universal right, our God-given right to live and let live, to grow our own food, to make our own clothes, to teach our children our own culture and customs, to celebrate our own ceremonies of birth and death. This is the right of every living man and woman. We're traveling nomads here in Portugal, and we thank the Portuguese people for welcoming us, most of them. We're not the first to trailblaze freedom. Mahatma Gandhi, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Jesus Christ, Buddha, Muhammad, and many, many, many others. We are not the first who walked the path of sovereignty, of freedom, in a non-violent way. We are not violent people. We are peaceful people. We want to peacefully live and look after the land we are on until such a time when we are ready to move on to our next destination. Our ultimate goal is to have our own island and be secluded and left alone from the rest of the world to do what they want to do, for us to establish our own society, a society that preserves culture, that honors nature and all things organic, a society that has no governmental hierarchies, that is run on tribal customs, where everyone, every man and woman, is a king or queen unto themselves. That is the vision. That is the new earth. We are not imposing this on anyone, least of all Portugal. We are preparing ourselves and practicing for when the time comes for us to begin our own society, wherever that may be. We are trusting that we will get our own island, separate from the matrix, so to speak, from the rest of the world. We are not anti-system. The system is fantastic for those who comply and those who want to be part of it. Right? We're not here to try and destroy the system. The system will continue with or without us. We are just creating an alternative, something different for those who want to take an alternative path for humanity. The path of living in nature, like our ancestors did. The path of grounding. The path of connecting with spirit and not going into AI technology. The path of going within and finding inner happiness and inner peace and inner sovereignty and inner freedom. And I'll end with this. Everything we are doing is lawful. Portugal has one of the best constitutions in the world by far. One of the best constitutions in the world by far. Everything we are doing is within the constitutional parameters of Portugal. Article 41. We have not broken any laws. We are well within the law. All the intimidation, all the threats, we've received multiple death threats. We've received so much intimidation from people claiming they're going to destroy us or they're going to all kinds of outlandish claims. That's okay. There's no way that you can walk the path of freedom and not face resistance. And again, when we say freedom, we're not saying we're trying to free Portugal. Portugal is Portugal. We're freeing ourselves as individuals, as a collective, as a family. And we thank the Constitution of Portugal for allowing us to do that under Article 41, which states, Portuguese Constitution, Article 41, freedom of conscience, religion, and worship. Freedom of conscience, religion, and worship shall be inviolable. No one shall be persecuted, deprived of rights, or exempted from civic obligations or duties because of his convictions or religious observance. No authority shall question anyone in relation to his convictions or religious observance, save in order to gather statistical data that cannot be individually identified, nor shall anyone be prejudiced in any way for refusing to answer. Churches and other religions, communities, shall be separate from the state and free to organize themselves and to perform their ceremonies and their worship. Freedom to teach any religion within the denomination in question and to use appropriate media for the pursuit of its activities shall be guaranteed. The right to be a conscientious objector, as laid down by law, shall be guaranteed. As you can tell, we, the Pineal Foundation, the Kingdom of Pineal, our spiritual organization, is well within the remit and boundaries of the Portuguese Constitution. We are acting lawfully, protected by the beautiful Constitution of Portugal. Until the Constitution is changed, which was created to protect people's rights and freedoms. Again, greatest constitution in the world as far as we're concerned. Until that is changed, we will continue to act lawfully and mind our own business. My beliefs, our beliefs, we are entitled to them. Many of you are saying you're concerned because we believe the earth is flat, or we believe we should be eating plants and not animals, or we believe we never went to the moon, or we believe certain things. Those are our beliefs, our cultural, spiritual, intellectual beliefs. We're not imposing these things on anybody. And the Portuguese Constitution, thankfully, allows us to freely express our beliefs without fear of persecution. This is what a sovereign land or a sovereign constitution looks like. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom to be allowed to be self-determined. We're not imposing anything on anyone. We're not asking for anything from anyone. We're not putting a strain or resources on the Portuguese government or the Portuguese people. We are simply asking for something very small: self-determination, to quietly live our lives out here in the middle of nowhere, to grow our own food, make our own clothes, raise our children, give birth to our own children, bury those who have transitioned peacefully, without fear of persecution from outside forces. Our independence is from the contract of birth certificate slavery to the corporation of the world. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about. Some of you will know what I'm talking about. We are traveling spirits. We are people who are traveling this earth. We are here in Portugal as guests. This is why it's called an embassy. And when the time moves, or when the time comes, we will move on to our own promised land. For now, we give thanks.